this doesn't happen. Like,
Right.
this does not happen. We have to take a second and make sure that this is accurate.
It's like people that are like, no, wait, Biden presidency, no, this doesn't happen. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't part of Keck's plan. This wasn't part of Q's plan. This wasn't supposed to happen.
And
that's what's going on right now. The
nothing.
Stages of fucking grief. That's what we're seeing, is the stages of grief.
I think we just have to discount anyone who says...
And they're stuck on denial. They're very much stuck on denial.
Definitively, this cannot... a recount. There is no election fraud. You might find 1 or 4 votes. Well, in one county, 6,000. Well,
so far.
You know what? It's give or take.
Well,
it's like the polls. There's a plus or minus 12.
It's like a parent saying to the kid, like, what's behind your back? Nothing.
Yeah. They go, good enough for me.
All right.
Okay,
Nothing to see here.
Sounds like it's just a comb.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a cajillion votes.
There's like I don't know how much they're doing it on purpose, but there's a fucked up subtext to what he just did. Like, because it's a callback. It's just a comb, right? It's a callback to the story of the switchblade comb that's actually a switchblade, right? And the idea is, like, don't trust your kids. They might... they might shiv you. There it is. Big structural Bailey. Okay. I don't know why I said big structural Bailey. Can we yeet you into the big structural Sparta below? Like, I would love to use fall damage to kill you. There we go. Get into the hole. Get into the hole. Get into the hole. Get into the hole. Into the hole. Thank you. That's where we're going. We're going into the hole. Into the hole. Into the hole. Into the hole. Can we get you into the hole? What can I do to put you in a hole today? Sir. I need to put you in the hole. In the hole. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. You're going in the hole. You're going in the hole. We're all going in the hole. It's gonna be great. There's too many fucking zombies. Really? Go in the hole. Go in the hole. We need you in the hole. We need you in the hole. The hole needs you. The hole is calling out your name. There we go. So we are officially cringing with Crowder. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Like and subscribe. And, feel free to leave a comment. Hey. YouTube. Look. I put Steven Crowder as a hashtag in this video. I'm gonna need you to check down in the comment section and make sure it's not overrun with chuds. And if you're a chud, hey, what's up? How's it going? Just keep doing your thing, making your comments and everything like that. And I'm gonna send some hapless leftists your way. So my simps, okay? So simp army, descend now into that comment section. Please, for fuck's sake, protect me. Don't let the chuds win, okay? If you let them get the last word, who knows? Like, this could become the national anthem, this song, if you let them get the best in the comment section. Never let the chuds win. Majority Mickey Mouse write-ins.
It's called an attempt at on-beat sipping, and then I choked.
On the beat.
No.
Yeah, I do have... Oh, hey, and thank you for... I didn't want you to think that I didn't notice. Leopard, thank you for the biddies. Always appreciated. I did not have agreeing with Logan Paul says in my 2020 bingo card. Me neither. Yeah, me neither. In fact, I almost thought for a second, Trap House Bunny, I almost thought you were reading that off of like my YouTube or something, because I was like, wait, that seems like the exact thought I had earlier.
Not good. He's choking!
Mood.
My lord, he's choking! Already, I am choking.
You
I
are.
was a little bit late to the show. I am excited to broadcast the downfall of Western civilization with you today.
Yay.
Jeez.
It's the...
It's funny, like, these guys are total pieces of shit. I've experienced a little bit of their content now, just like felt like what a sesh is like with these guys. Yeah, coffee. I was about to say, like, everybody's advertising coffee. Everybody's selling coffee. I need to get some coffee to like be like. And while you're at it, chat, make sure to give that affiliate link a click and go over and get my special deal on no comment coffee. It's a special roast that I myself have approved. They sent me They sent me like 7 roast chat, and I tried them all, and this was the one. This was the one that I said is gonna bear the no comment check seal of approval, and that's why I want you to have this coffee. And yeah,
Continuation of
yeah.
Fraud Week. Hey.
They really think this Fraud Week shit is funny. What is the reference? Is it supposed to be like Shark Week?
Some people have been saying.
Are they still doing the... Okay, so chat, you'll have to explain. Does anybody know? He's got his gun strapped to him. That's interesting. This other guy seems to be in his nightrobe.
Stop with the fraud.
What? Why isn't he in his nightrobe? When did they film this?
Week. Listen, when there's
Do they film this in the morning or like late at night?
no longer
It looks like morning outside of his fake window.
fraudulent election, your request will be granted. And today will be so many states. Today we'll be covering Nevada, Pennsylvania, and then ending on Michigan because both myself
They're fast talkers.
and of course in third chair today from Compound.
So like that's what I was noticing. Even as I was watching this, you know, I kind of like noticed like some like, okay, well here's why this might be a more successful podcast than other podcasts. And sometimes having too many people on a stream can turn into a train wreck, and nobody knows when it's somebody's turn to talk, and people don't get to talk, and just all kinds of bad things happen from that. But sometimes you can use it to your advantage, where it's like if everybody goes like one after another and they're pretty good at not stepping on each other's toes, you can get a really good rhythm going. And I think there's something appealing about the rhythm. Chat, I'm just saying the rhythm, please. Do not clip me. I am not saying the politics. I am not saying there's anything appealing about the politics or anything other than just like the kind of rhythm of the show. Because like I have heard a lot of other podcasts, in fact I'd say most podcasts don't have this kind of tempo that Crowder's able to establish, and I kind of wonder how much of it actually might be editing.
Media. Dave Landau, we're both
Hey,
Michiganders.
what's up, King Uendo?
Yes, we are. Hello, everyone.
And you're the whitest man in Detroit.
That's correct.
The last one I hear.
Yes, I'm the last one. Well, there's two.
Seems to be a right-wing trick. Talk to your audience. Talk so your audience doesn't get to question what you just said.
The
We didn't
last
talk
one
about
without
that.
a
Yeah, no, it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. And the other thing too is if you talk in a way that makes people think that you're smarter than them, they will generally get overwhelmed with what you're saying. Even if what you're saying isn't that complicated, they'll think that you're talking about nerd shit and that they're not equipped to handle it. And they'll default to just kind of agreeing with you. You know what I mean? They'll kind of, they're not with you anymore in the explanation, in the conversation, but they're like, no, they're utterly convinced, because it's like some kind of primordial like lobster battle goes on, you know? And if one person can convince the other person that they're smarter, that person then their brain melts and re-solidifies into a more suitable brain for a newly subservient lobster.
Can only
beard
be
and
one.
a beanie and a coffee shop. Detroit is nothing but criminals with tattoos and hipsters. And the hipsters, I mean, it's very short-lived. It's a short. They recycle
What's up, Gingerbread?
them very quickly. Like, I'm gonna go in and make a difference, and then there's an epidemic of hipster rape. Surprise!
It's just sad.
Who saw that one coming, Skylar? Quarter black Garrett.
That's why people think Ben Shapiro is smart, despite everything he has said or done. Oh my god.
Is here. He's accepted amongst no communities. Audio Wade has a puffy face. He won't be tomorrow because he has facial surgery.
So is there a thing, like, are they wearing their bathrobes? Is that the, like, premise of the show? That they're, like, I don't know, that they live in a frat house together? Is that what this is, chat? That's the only... Okay, you know, I know that this isn't real. They probably go there and they have their bathrobes there and they put them on, you know, and who knows? They film this at 6 o'clock at night. Who knows, right? But wait, probably not, right? Because it's like live. But like, I don't know. I feel like my mind wants to write like a canon for this. And the canon I'm coming up with is that like they all live together in a frat house and they're like just waking up in the morning, which is probably going to be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thinking cat.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry.
change my face.
And then token
Finally.
out.
Black, turning it black.
Is that?
Oh my
That would
god.
only work.
Don't
if he's
you
a
dare come
Canadian
back
Prime
dark.
Minister.
I only do that off camera.
And then Gerald A is here. How are you?
I am.
Yeah, because they have like they have like actual clothes underneath their bathrobes.
Well, sir.
I don't
You.
care. But I do. I care about you very much.
Subservient lobster? Is this lobster on a all meat diet and addicted to benzos? Possibly.
Just not.
I lied. I don't like lying to my audience right off the bat. We'll also be
You're a
talking
good guy.
about.
Not a good
We do have some
person.
good news. 2 vaccines now, not just one.
Whoa.
2 vaccines now are available. They're
Wait, is
competing
this-
2,
It's
and
fantastic.
we were told that there would be no vaccines. Here's the thing, and this is a question. I have several
Oh my god,
questions
he's
today.
gonna
Does
mold,
anybody
he's gonna
out there
mold, he's gonna mold,
genuinely
he's gonna
believe- when we
cope, he's
talk
gonna
about Donald
cope and
Trump's
mold.
handling of the pandemic? Anyone genuinely believe that Joe Biden would have gotten these vaccines to market faster or as fast?
Donald
Do you
did it.
know
It
what-
was
do you
the
know what got us
Donald.
2
No one but
vaccines
Donald.
before the end of
Nobody
November, which
but
Donald
Donald
said would
Trump.
happen, and they said was logistically impossible.
Joe Biden's
Cutting
too
red
sleepy.
tape and
He can't get the
deregulation.
vaccine out.
Basically, a Disney villain's policies.
Like, okay, so Biden. Okay.
That's really what it is. Something always like, oh, this sounded really well until.
Oh, speaking of Disney villain, I think I want to play some video games tonight. I was thinking maybe Kingdom Hearts. But like chat, like he would if he was a YouTube creator, he wouldn't have been able to get a Logan Paul video out tomorrow like morning, okay? Or at least my time morning. At least at the Steven Crowder frat house, it's probably still considered morning, even if they're on the East Coast, because yeah, we know you motherfuckers are sleeping in.
The guy came in and deregulated it. Now the big oil company comes
Like a wake and bake. No, I don't know. Do they smoke weed? Or am I thinking of Alex Jones? Are they too trad?
in, and then it's just
Yeah,
Matthew
exactly.
McConaughey or
I can never tell which of the right wingers are just like oblivious to the fact that the actual right wing is like a scary bunch of tradcons, and which ones are actual scary ass tradcons.
This show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Stop putting your online data at risk. Get
What
protected.
the
at
fuck
ExpressVPN.
did I do? No.
about how there was a memory card
Yeah.
where they found
right,
about
yeah.
2,600 new votes.
Okay.
That would happen, and they said was logistically
Wait,
impossible.
what?
Cutting red tape and deregulation. Basically, a Disney villain's policies.
Okay, wait, there we are. Disney villain. That's where we were, right? Disney
That's really
villain.
what it is. Something always like, oh, this sounded really well until the guy came in and
I know, it's like, does he shoot like small like animals out of his window too? Why does he have a gun on?
deregulated it. Now those
No, Chad, I've like known some frat dudes, like, and like seriously,
big oil company comes in, and then it's just
Yeah.
very, very sus.
Matthew
Exactly.
McConaughey or Sam Elliott, like, well, I want to rape you of your resources. You're like,
Yes, not all Greek. What are they called? The overarching thing is the Greek society. Is that what it's called?
okay, we get it.
Not all Greeks are evil.
And he doesn't spend any
I'm
time
sure
with his
there's
kids.
some
So we'll be talking about vaccine warp speed, what it
very chill people out there.
is versus what Joe Biden wanted to do. But first, you know how yesterday we talked about, and we are covering Nevada and Michigan.
Right.
Nevada and Pennsylvania.
He shoots his toaster to pop out the toast. Yeah, wait, is that for real? Kinguendo, is that a real thing?
Pennsylvania.
Tomorrow.
Is he the Pee Wee Herman of like right wing? I don't know. What would you call him? Is he a debate bro? He's not really a debate bro. He like pretends to be a debate bro, but he's not. He doesn't really want to debate you.
Tomorrow is Michigan, but we had to cover this because
Like if you are a freshman in college, and you're running from one class to another, and you don't know the issue he's asking about, he wants to debate you. But if you're anybody else, he doesn't want to debate you.
yesterday we covered Georgia,
right.
and a lot of people skim over this because it's such a similar story. Where yesterday we talked about how there was a memory card where they found
right,
about 2,600 new votes, the overwhelming majority of which were for Donald Trump.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
Canadian.
They found a second memory card.
Ah,
Okay, can I gotta say, chat, okay, I hope you don't think less of me after this. I hope this isn't too spicy of a take, but the Canadians, they're not sending us their best people, folks. They're not sending us their best people, okay?
After we had broadcast, with another
Spicy take.
2,700 votes in Fayette County, Georgia, again, the majority of which for for Donald Trump. They're treating voting cards like they're expansion packs on an N64.
I kept on wanting to make a joke about like the Saturday Night Live thing when Alex Trebek died, and like I know it would have been in bad taste and stuff, but then I didn't realize, I guess everybody else that was on Celebrity Jeopardy is like dead. Like all those people. Sean Connery, dead. Burt Reynolds, dead.
If I want to play Donkey Kong 64, I need more voting cards.
If you hit 3,000, you got to log out.
You have to blow on the vote.
You have a notebook with your passwords before they have the proper memory
I don't get these boomer references.
functions. Think about this for a second. There's no evidence of voter fraud. Sure, well, we didn't use the term just voter fraud. We talked about irregularity.
Right.
That's also important. 56, what are we, 50?
Wait, so if there's irregularities but no fraud, is that a problem?
5,400, somewhere between 50, depending which report you use, 5,200 and 6,000 votes that they just found?
Whoops. What's that bowel movement?
In one state? It's not of concern to you. And by the way, this is not even with a real recount, not even with a canvassing. It's just people counting the same way they counted before. Like, I don't know. What is it? Hey, what does this card do?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. There's
Oh, chat. Hey, you're lucky you're here. Okay, I don't know how many of you are going to be up at the right time to take advantage of this, but if you are up this Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern p.m., right, you can tune into this channel right here, and we're going to be talking to the one, the only Merrick DeVille. That's right. Mother Merrick. We are going to be talking to Merrick. That's right. Merrick's going to be on Bird Brains. Merrick's on Bird. You're hearing it first, chat. I would have tweeted it, but it kind of it happened so late, and I don't know. I'll try to get the word out tomorrow, but hey, you get the word out too, or something, or at least like know that that's happening. Merrick's going to be there. Milk Tea Leninism, Melanie, friend of the VOD, will be there. Vera, Ask Vera will be there as well, and we're working on the rest of the panel as we speak. And we're going to be talking about some really interesting stuff. We're going to be talking about sexual liberation. I gotta cut this. That's right, I'm doing this in the middle of a YouTube video. God damn it. Okay, I'll have to cut this in. This is more editing for like future Irene to have to do. Great, awesome. She'll appreciate that. But yeah, so it's 4 p.m. It's Friday, and Merrick, Vera, and Melanie, and we're gonna be talking about sexual liberation, slut shaming, and leftist infighting. So it should be a spicy stream, spicy panel on Bird Brains this Friday.
another $5,000.
It's like somebody
Yeah, Eastern. Yeah.
checked their jacket pocket, like, oh crap.
Could you imagine if you checked your jacket pocket and you found $5,400?
You'd probably tell someone as opposed to not keep it a secret.
I know
exactly.
I'd board up my windows with Bristol boards.
I wouldn't let anyone know.
And reject poll work.
The most famous Canadian was Dan Aykroyd, Pamela Anderson, Donald Sutherland, Ryan Reynolds, Justin Bieber, and Jim Carrey. All Canadians. Okay, so they are sending their best too, but they're also sending their not best. Thank you for the correction, though, Thinking Cat. That is you're based as always.
I know if I found one laptop with a bunch of stuff on it that no one wants to see, I would definitely hide that.
Let's talk about the laptop. I actually want to get into that. Like, I don't know if we'll have time tonight, chat, but I'm just fascinated by this fucking laptop, and like mostly with how enamored the Republicans are with this, like the laptop from hell. It's just like imagining this thing.
Wouldn't give
fucking Satan's laptop here.
it to Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, I let Geek Squad
Here's
try
the
to
thing
fix
about the
my
laptop.
Steven Crowder surrounds himself with giggling sycophants. It's embarrassing. What if I end up leaving that in? What if that goes in the YouTube video? Oh my
The
god.
laptop is, there's some things that are funny, but there's things that not so funny. Well, what do you mean, Mary?
That'll be embarrassing, and then Merrick will find it and be like, "Oh my god, you're so cringy promoting the stream."
So many cocks, Steven.
Oh,
That's because I'm the queen of cringe. I can't help it. I embrace the cringe.
Guys,
So many
remember,
M&Ms.
He was on our show,
Yeah,
and he was
yeah.
saying like, "There's some things that I don't even want to talk about."
like-
Well, now we know.
Unspeakable. I don't want
Sydney
to talk about
You have to embrace the cringe if you ever want to become cool.
Also, we need to investigate it more. And Anthony Weiner's laptop. We forgot about that.
Let's get the wiener out. What the fuck did I just say? I don't know, chat. I don't know. Let's get the wiener laptop back out is I think what I was trying to say. And see if we can find that frazzle drip file, that infamous file on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Now, if he fucking refers to the frazzle drip file, that's some QAnon shit, okay? That is some really deep conspiracy shit.
Little bastard. Well, he's
I think that might even be the conspiracy. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but frazzle drip is the conspiracy that involves Tom Hanks, right? They think that Tom Hanks is a bad man that does horrible things to children. And I'm not going to use the word because I don't know. I feel like if Twitch had a shadow like suppress your stream, it'd be for like saying words like that. On
Still
stream,
around.
but-
Really?
What's up with
yeah,
the
Anthony
laptops?
Weiner. Apparently, there might be
The
some
wiener, yeah.
criminal activity from that laptop, and it
Oh
might
my
link
gosh.
to I don't know how it links.
It's going to link to the Hunter Biden. It's because they're both using Vire OS. We talked about this before, Steven, okay? Vire OS is a special operating system that is composed entirely of viruses, which, you know, have been accidentally downloaded to the computer along with porn, illicit porn, you know, really freaky porn. Actually, you know what? It's just toe sucking, Steven. It's that was what was on the computer was toe sucking. And yeah, foot fetish stuff, right? That's the yeah, anyway. But yeah, the computer is like possessed now by this like sentient OS that's like put itself together. So basically the viruses attacked the OS and now like all that's left is just virus. And with this laptop, he's able to hack the election. Hunter Biden, chat. Hunter Biden stole the election from his dad. You heard it here first. We're announcing the true conspiracies, the ones they don't want you to know about. It was his laptop from hell. He used his laptop from hell. See, because once you have a OS composed entirely of viruses, it's actually like really good for hacking. It's in fact, you can't really go on the internet on any website without hacking. Like if you had a website and I had Vire OS loaded on my rig, and I went and looked at your website, you would get like, you know, you would have like, I don't know, you would have a denial service attack or something like that. It would be bad. You'd get hacked, right? Just by me looking at your website. Like every website I look at then at that point is just getting hacked. So that's what Hunter Biden had, and that's how the elections got. He was like, oh wow, I have access to this. Oh, what is this, like Georgia voting records? Let me press this button.
Hunter Biden's laptop. They're all horrible people. Let's just be
That's the
clear.
point, yeah.
The people who represent
I
the
prefer the
people-
term collectors.
Yes, collectors like Matthew. I love how Jesus put tax collectors on par with criminals and prostitutes. Here's another thing. We're hitting Michigan tomorrow, but a board of canvassers in Michigan, this happened last night, refused to certify. They were deadlocked 2-2 to certify the vote for Joe Biden in Wayne County, and then they reversed it. So this is considered a big win. They reversed it. People say, well, why did they reverse it? So this happened last night. I'll tell you what. I have a... We don't know exactly why they reversed it so quickly, and it almost seemed fearfully, but I have a guess.
Monica Palmer and William Hartman will forever be known in southeastern Michigan as two racists who did something so unprecedented that they disenfranchised hundreds of thousands of black voters
Giving
in the city of
names?
Detroit because they were
It gets
ordered
worse.
to. Probably, I know, Monica, you think Q told you to do it or some other crazy stuff like that. But just know when you try to sleep tonight, that millions of people around the world now on Twitter know the name Monica Palmer and William Hartman as two people completely
Watch this, it gets worse.
Racist and without an understanding of what integrity means or a shred of human decency.
And what that tells us is you, Miss Monica Palmer from Grosse Pointe Woods, which has a history of racism, are deciding to enable and continue to perpetuate the racist history of this country.
Now, I am not trying to encourage violence against the Nazi who lives on 184 Oak Lawn, apartment number 2 in Grosse Pointe Woods.
Okay.
Wow.
Keep in mind, the Hunter Biden story was removed from Twitter because of doxing.
For a second, I thought that he was like talking about a real address or something.
That's what they claimed because it showed some private emails. They gave the name municipality.
It was the audio popping?
And I'm pretty sure on Twitter, the address.
Wow.
Well, it's like, well, how did they reverse the decision? I don't know. If they're about to send.
When you say the audio, do you mean like the audio of me, or do you mean the audio of Steven Crowder? Like, which one is popping? Testing, microphone test 1, microphone test 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh god, if anything, the mic's a little bit low, it seems like. So maybe it's the, I'm good, okay, maybe it's the, maybe I have the, YouTube volume turned up too high? Maybe Crowder's just like really compressed.
Some black bloc protesters with Molotov cocktails to your condominium complex. Guess what? I might change my mind too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not worth it. I'm a volunteer.
And by the way, their job is to do this. Their job, if there's irregularities that they have to sort through first, you don't certify the vote yet.
Well, here's another thing. They may have had reason for pause because, and we're still confirming this, so you can fact check at Twitter, but it seems that this comes from a legitimate source. There's new proof that the same ballots in Detroit were run 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times the same ballot in Wayne County.
I can't do the count.
The Detroit
right?
Tigers mascot?
It's the count.
I just want to make sure I'm following along.
4 erosions of our constitutional republic. Soon we'll all be living in trash can.
I'm from Grosse Pointe, and, you know, I feel that just because we put a giant wall between our city and Detroit does not make us racist.
No. Plus, you guys aren't any better off because in Detroit they've run out of people to kill.
Exactly. We have to go over that.
Oh, thank you, Plurtball.
You have people walking into your neighborhood and driving out.
Yes.
All the time.
I'm not kidding. Twice in my front yard.
I can't figure it out. Funkmaster Flex doesn't even live there. So somehow, I don't know. They must be, there's just people are going to Grosse, but it's a good place to purchase cars legally. People don't realize that Detroit invented the car.
There's dog whistles, right?
When my father taught
These
me
are
to
dog
drive,
whistles.
because he learned to drive in Detroit, he had to teach me how to avoid carjacking. He said, "Here's
Is
what
it
happens.
all dog whistles?
Always leave some space between you, at least a full car's length between you and the bumper in front of you when you
Always
stop at a
has
light,
been.
and you have the wheels slightly angled. Just like you don't want to have the wheels angled if you're turning left at a red light. He was saying always have them slightly angled. That way, if someone, because what they would do is they would ram you, pin you, and then carjack you. That way, if someone rams you, you say, "Bye, bitches," and you go off.
Yeah, it's right after you learn to parallel park, actually.
Yeah, it's on the test.
Yeah, they tell you to. Look.
And then watch out for the deer roaming downtown.
Yeah.
It's on the test right next to the box that you check.
Okay, I really don't know what they're
Caucasian
talking
as well
about,
as
but
not Hispanic or Latino.
Right.
Yeah, how many feet away should you be from your carjacker? How far should you reach out for a dime bag?
oh wait, didn't
I don't know what it
somebody,
takes. I don't
Kamala,
know what it takes. Okay,
like,
we now have over 5,000
Kamala,
votes that they
fist
just
bumped
found, and we
Lindsey
just gave you
Graham.
some pretty strong evidence that they've counted ballots 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which, by the way, coincides. It corroborates the affidavits, which are sworn testimony, effectively under oath, of people saying, "I just saw them
No,
put the
they're
ballot in a
not.
bunch of times."
Steve, you're
People
fucking
writing down
lying,
the
dude.
affidavits,
Okay,
I'm
we've
like,
been
"Oh, you
over
must be
this. We've been
misspeaking.
over
No one would
this
be that blatant."
so many times, but he's still bamboozling his fucking audience, just like the rest of these assholes. The claim that
How far should you reach out for a dime bag?
Again, I don't know what it takes. I don't know what it takes. Okay, we now have over 5,000 votes that they just found, and we just gave you some pretty strong evidence that they've counted ballots 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which, by the way, coincides. It corroborates the affidavits, which are sworn testimony, effectively.
So the trick of this is that there are affidavits that went to court, and there are also affidavits that didn't go to court that were signed with Project Veritas. Like, and what's happening is that the things that these people will claim in public are very expansive. They'll essentially say that they witnessed voter fraud, right? Which sounds like, okay, you should look into that. If this person says they saw voter fraud happen, you should look into that, make sure it's not true, right? But when they are talking to the court, when they're filling out their actual affidavit, when they're actually going to court, what they claim is like that they heard someone whispering but couldn't really tell what they were saying, and that the things that they alleged that they said were just like guesses, basically. And so yeah, this is how he's bamboozling his audience.
Under oath of people saying, I just saw them put in the ballot in a bunch of times. People writing down the affidavit thought like, oh, you must be misspeaking. No one would be that.
Well, the statements that went to court didn't really even claim anything that would have triggered a deeper investigation. Like the claims that were entered into court weren't just, you know, not even really claims. They were like, you know, here's a place where something looked strange, but there's never like a kind of a smoking gun of like, you know, actual witness. Like anybody who claimed to have seen voter fraud didn't claim to the court that that was what happened, because that's, you know, these
that blatant with their criminal act
cases aren't really going, they're fizzling out.
No, I saw them just put it in and run the ballot a bunch of times like it was a cartoon with his tongue falling out because a pretty bunny lady came by.
She's
no evidence whatsoever. Anyway, we're going to be continuing with voter fraud in the vaccine. But please, hey, we are now on Parler. For people who don't know Parler.
But of course you are. But should I get a Parler chat to talk to the chat?
We're still on Facebook.
I don't know. Apparently, I have like a way with right wingers where they somehow like find me like palatable or something that like I'm not like.
But Parler is.
They don't like spit me out like a disgusting like European chocolate that's actually like really good chocolate, but they're like not used to tasting bitter chocolate, so they don't want it because it's like, oh, what is this? I thought it was chocolate, but it's really bitter. That's, you know, like I'm the inoffensive, like sweet chocolate.
It's a pretty good
that they like, even though it's like got a bunch of artificial ingredients.
App right now. It's a place where free speech actually
That's right,
exists.
chat.
We will always fight on the territories where we can. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Until it gets to a point if they just completely throttle your voice.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's happened with any of the platforms yet.
I got like over 99% dark chocolate and it tasted like chalky death. Do not recommend. Yo, American chocolate is pretty much trash. Like, anyone I've ever talked to that comes from Europe, like, and even countries that don't really have like a strong like chocolate like tradition or whatever, like they don't understand why Americans eat the chocolate that we eat.
But it's getting pretty close. So
because it can be so much better.
Parler, thank you. We're at Steven Crowder on Parler, and of course, to consider joining Mug.
I don't have the ability. I'm very abrasive to chuds, like a cold shower when using barbed wire as a towel.
Club louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. We still have the Crowder election stream promo code. That's $30 off because the election is not called.
I was about to say.
Despite what Stelter tells you, because he doesn't want to pay nuisance money.
Stelter. Wait, who's he talking about? Brian Stelter? Brian Stelter? Did Brian Stelter like call the election for MSNBC? What is he talking about? I don't understand. Is he doing the Carlos Maza thing, but with Stelter this time?
And there's no free content without you subscribing.
It was Lend, so probably the US. I would think that it was made here, but they're Swiss, I think.
Grabbing on Mug Club.
Yeah.
So
the best chocolate is in Belgium.
Really do appreciate it. People are like, how do you do this without selling little vibrating toothbrushes and bed sheets and gold? And Tom Selleck has
Chat, do you want little vibrating toothbrushes of me?
taken my house. That's because you guys join up. We're not funded by a foreign caliphate. It's you and Mugs. And
I don't even know how, like, deep into, like, conspiracy shit does Crowder get.
we'll have another 30 minutes exclusive.
My Latin teacher says Belgians eat bread with butter and chocolate for breakfast. Damn, that sounds like based.
on Mug Club.
I'm gonna do a thumbnail about that called Based Breakfast. Yeah.
Hold on, what are they saying at Cena? Oh, they're talking about the vaccine.
Like, just do thumbnails, but about things that I'm not even doing videos about. Just like every concept has a thumbnail.
By the way, the new virtue signal is the asshole haircut.
Oh, is it?
That's Sanjay Gupta because he wants you to know.
Asshole haircut?
I can't go get my haircut because I'm social distancing, and so that's how he looks.
Wow, it just looks greasy.
Yes.
What was the excuse before COVID?
It's like he's
Pain au chocolat? Yeah, oh my god. I haven't had that in a long time.
he's on break on the set of The Outsiders at the craft table. Only lost
Doesn't do conspiracies much.
his comb and switchblade.
His switch comb.
We all had one as a kid.
I did too.
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
Switchblade, like,
So cool.
Hey.
Ooh. Like, well,
And then they stab you.
Yeah. Take your comb.
you can still sharpen a comb.
I scalped myself 4 times.
Hey, by the
Oh, that's right. He does the
way, this is also, we don't want to be insensitive. It's Trans Awareness Week.
Right.
And this is, of course, everyone on Twitter. We would not have, just like with Black History Month, we would not have tried to hijack it, and we wouldn't have done Fraud Week had we known that. That being said, you know, we will make sure that in the future, if there is no fraudulent election that's stolen, we'll move Fraud Week over to make room for a beautiful, brave Trans Awareness Week. But this is about visibility for trans people, and so we are going to simultaneously celebrate
I'm scared.
Trans Awareness Week with Fraud.
This is gonna be the thing where it sounds like, oh wow, okay, well that sounds reasonable, and then at the very end he says something horrible. Or is he just gonna make a Natak helicopter joke?
Week, Trans
What do you think, chat? Are we gonna get a helicopter joke here?
Awareness. Thank you for everything that you do.
Oh god, what are we gonna... This is gonna be like... Okay, Crowder. What a dick. He's like laughing at his... Yeah.
Well, we see you.
I am harder than
Hey, I
Astro.
see you.
Hope
I see you back.
everyone in the studio enjoys my droplets.
Oh,
That's true.
no.
You didn't
They're on the
aerosol.
Don't
camera.
worry, it's not aerosol. Aerosol is a finer mist. By the way, your single-ply cotton mask at home, unless washed in an industrial hospital washing machine, does nothing. According to science, someone send me that paper. Fauci, I'm eyeing you, and I know you love the limelight. We have an open seat and a booster seat right here for
Wait, Bruges, Belgium?
you.
I hope that moisture doesn't loosen my duct tape.
What?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Duct
I
tape.
was like, no, no, we're not doing this.
Awareness of
Taping it back.
I still don't get it.
Oh my god, fuck you. I'm like kind of just tuning him out, but I fucking just realized what he was talking about. I feel like, wouldn't he have some experience with that though? He's done a lot of like, you know, drag. Wouldn't he kind of...
I'll give it to you.
Oh boy.
What?
Took a turn.
All right, but we are going to continue. We're
I
going to
don't
be talking
got
about the
it.
vaccines, and we're going to be talking
I
about
feel like-
Operation Warp Speed.
I feel like they said something really horrible and it just went right over my head.
But of course, we are trying to provide you with a service right now, going state by state of the no
But the
evidence. So
little
it's time to
dudes come up
continue.
and like I just
Fraud.
naturally am like, little
dudes.
Little dudes, thank you for following Terrifying Taya.
You know what? Spit takes aren't worth it.
Yeah, like he
just got it everywhere.
apparently enjoys
I don't
it.
think
Like
it
he
hit
does
the
it a
camera,
lot.
but it might have.
Did
Am
it
I
actually hit the
lagging?
camera?
I don't know. I'm trying to see.
Is there anything? Are there droplets on the screen? Can you guys see me?
That was a good
It's not
spit
bad.
take.
It was a
though.
good
That's
spit
It
take.
was. Yeah.
Right?
Price you pay.
You know when you're a kid and you first see a spit take, and then you're looking for any excuse to do the bit?
Exactly.
You're just like, hey, give me some water. Was it funny?
Go to
you
your
don't
room.
grasp the concept
Yeah,
of
the
comedy.
context.
Yeah, you do it with your chocolate milk and your mom beats you half to death.
Right.
Yeah, good
Remember
times.
that.
Personal experience, is that what's going on here?
Indeed, it is.
Well,
So
in Detroit.
specific.
That's when you were going.
It's best for when we don't get conservative virtue signaling. To be honest, he's aging into Mike Cernovich. Jeez, I hope he's not as unfunny as Cernovich. He does it in skits, but way too often for a person not getting a charge out of it.
Down to the Grosse Pointe Mall. What was it? What's the mall down there?
Eastland.
Eastland Mall.
It's nice.
Ooh.
There's a purple suit store left.
Yes.
The casual paternal abuse joke, yeah. Look at how grizzled he looks. Yeah. He does seem like older than I thought he was.
But all purple suits.
There's a purple
No
suit
other
store, and it's
suits.
right next.
Yeah, totally, Taya. Yeah, usually I start streaming earlier. I've just been like starting late because I've been doing YouTube videos and finishing those up. So yeah.
To the polymer playground where kids like
Yeah.
play in a giant piece of French toast, but they're actually just midgets selling heroin.
Yeah, it is.
Canes are 2 for $1 on Fridays, by the way.
We're going in the bullpen. Black tar. Which, by the way, and people are saying, hey, there's an empty
Lyon, France.
holster here. I don't know what happened to my gun. I think I gave it to a kid. So,
Oh,
we're
wow.
continuing Fraud Week.
He did not.
Yeah, authentic French cuisine is really interesting.
This week, Nevada and Pennsylvania were
The
cataloging
only thing I can eat is galette.
this on Crowder Bits so that you
So
can
that'll-
have this as a reference point. And I want to get through the facts first so that I don't get anything wrong. And then, of course, we'll go to some commentary. So let's go to Nevada first. This
Little like buckwheat crepes.
week, the Clark County Commission, right, they threw out a local election. You can bring this up there, Tokonawan, because there were, quote, too many discrepancies to be sure of the election results. And there were 153,000 votes in this municipality. So they had to toss it. That's a local election, and I don't necessarily, there's anyone, we don't really think it's going to affect the national election. But that's still kind of like if you have to toss an election, you have to toss 153,000 votes because you
yeah.
can't even get close to matching.
You might as well just toss out the election results and go with the results that the fascists want, right? Is that what you're saying?
Up the totals. Maybe there are a
We
few.
could just switch it over and be like, yeah, I mean, like they got the most votes, but we who knows? There was some irregularities in this election, so let's give the fascists another try. Let's give them another 4 years.
Memory cards under someone's mattress next to their gold and reverse
know.
mortgage contract. I have no idea, but go looking for them. You'll find them. Where's the memory card? Maybe it's wearing stripes in a candy cane forest like
confusing,
Waldo.
yeah.
Why does Waldo always hide in places with stripes? Waldo, we could find you easily anywhere else. Well, I don't know. I'm at the
You know, in my room, it's usually more like where's dildo, but yeah,
candy.
no,
I'm at
what
the
Waldo
Candy
is
Amusement Park. Well, there's your problem, Waldo.
probably pretty hard to find too.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to be found.
Maybe he doesn't want to be found.
Bill Devane found 5,000 votes.
So this was 153,000 votes in a local election that were tossed. And by the way, this does translate. These direct votes are a local election, not national, but this does translate to the shenanigans
The real fascism was the friends we made along the is when you count votes.
that you see at the national level. Matt Schlapp summarized the problems going into the Nevada elections, highlighting that there were all kinds of irregularities, even at a national level. In Clark County, here he is, because you won't believe me.
In all my years in politics, I have never seen the types of voter irregularity we have seen in Clark.
You can tell the brainworms have gotten to him. I mean, not just by the fact that there's Trumpies standing behind him, right? And there are Trumpies standing right behind this man. But you can tell by like his facial affectation. I don't know. There's something that you can see in somebody's eyes when the Trump zombie virus has like eaten through their brain to a certain extent, and they can no longer be thought to be exhibiting anything approaching what we would call free will. You can see it in their eyes.
County. The zeal to push reckless, unsolicited.
Like, it feels like the ghost of Andrew Breitbart is unironically possessing the sky as we speak. Chat, convince me that it's not happening. What is it that Steven Crowder always says? Change my mind.
Mail-in voting resulted in 50% of ballots coming through the mail and a tenfold increase in mail ballots in Clark County. Fact. The voter lists were
This is an
never
actual fact, by the
appropriately
way.
scrubbed, including the press
Yo.
reports after FOIA requests.
We didn't get to we didn't get to disenfranchise enough voters. We don't think it's fair if everybody gets to vote. We want to make sure that we reduce the number of people, just like reduce the number of Democrats, and then act like it's somehow a fair election.
Of not scrubbing over 80,000 primary voters before the general election ballots were made.
Wow. No evidence.
Fact. Illegal ballots never should have been mailed.
Chat, hey, let me know, is there a clip of Crowder that's gone viral recently? Because I don't want to be doing Crowder like every night, and I'd kind of like to like get all the Crowder done. God damn, his shit's, well, at least it's only an hour here. If anybody knows any Crowder clips that are making the rounds, send them to me and I'll check those out too. Because like, I don't know, I don't want to like do this segment and then have somebody be like, oh shit, you didn't even do the thing where he said such and such, right? Because there's always like there's always a Crowder controversy.
Should have ended up in the final tally.
Tomato, tomato.
How did this happen? This happened with a reckless change in Nevada election rules.
Hey, good point, Drakewing. If you assert your bullshit really confidently, it's the same as having evidence.
Right before the general election, which reduced the democratic norms of meaningful observation by the media and by Americans.
Says you.
The reduction of ballot security and almost the elimination of signature verification.
Yeah, I know you feel for their
audio guy.
Their audio guy.
And he actually ended the speech by saying, "You just got Matt slapped.
You just got slapped. You just got slapped."
I mean, they do have. Oh, I did it again. Oh my god. Okay, I know how to find.
Somewhere there's a paleo or a keto person like, I get that. I get.
I don't.
A whistleblower.
The reduction of.
So here's some other fast facts for Dominion voting. The systems that we've talked about, they were using
The reduction of ballot we have seen in Clark County.
Their audio guy.
And he actually ended the speech
There
by
we go.
saying, "You just
Audio
got Matt
guy.
slapped.
Okay, yeah,
You just
yeah.
got slapped.
I was just gonna say that their audio sounds okay. The biggest thing that I'm trying to do now is kind of get my EQ right, because you want to boost the right part of your voice and then like de-emphasize, parts where it's like distracting or like annoying. There's actually a frequency or a set of frequencies, chat, and I need to kind of find out what they are that are particularly like grating on the human ear, like as in you really can only listen to them for so long, and I kind of want to like find out what that is and like just like drop those frequencies right out, because like when you're listening to a long form stream, you don't want to have your ears getting like
You just got slapped. And by the way, you usually
Kofefe beans. Did you already cover him being incredibly sore winner? Of getting more subs than TYT? No, I saw him mention that, but I didn't see like the celebration. Does anybody have that clip or that like video or whatever?
I see someone that tan with hair that white, that thick. He's like a walking photo negative. So here's some other fast facts for Dominion voting. The systems that we've talked about, they were used in 16 out of 17 jurisdictions in Nevada with, of course, a history of glitches. We don't have them in this election because no one's really looking for them, but in previous elections, a whistleblower, by the way, with the Clark County Elections Department claimed that poll workers fabricated proof of residence, right, for data for illegal voters. This is
Dude,
under
they're
a sworn
grasping.
affidavit. Again, we're
They're
just doing
seriously
Nevada right now. We're going to get to
grasping
Pennsylvania. We're
one.
cooking with gas.
They're just like
We're cooking
scrubbing
with
the
the slow
carpet for
downfall
little
and
bits of
erosion of our
copium.
democracy.
Yeah.
It's renewable.
And it's like, dude, I swear to God, that's like
every 4
dirt
years
you
and
trapped in
midterms
from outside.
smoke
That's
points.
not
and
copium.
recounts. Yeah, it's like
Copium
palm
is
oil.
long gone.
Somewhere, someone
Long
is a
gone,
paleo or
my
keto person like,
friend.
I get that. I need to get my saturated fats in because I believe it's a better energy source, you moron. So,
Oh my God, he's going hard on the
another
keto
witness
people.
saw
Wow.
a Biden-Harris van unloading ballots that
wow.
were filled out, and then they were sealed in envelopes. And here's the people formed a human shield to prevent poll watchers from observing. So we'll continue with this because there's
He's
some.
so
and
petty
beware
about
the
this.
fact checkers.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some of the fact checks that you see that aren't really, they fact check themselves, but when they say, well, it was a mistake, they formed a human shield to block poll workers. We used to form a human shield so, black people could saunter on up to the
Dude.
bar and eat a piece of pie at the diner,
Yeah.
maybe not be bothered by German shepherds while they enjoy a brunch. Now we're
Citation-
forming shields
citation
to prevent
needed.
the preservation of our
Citation needed,
constitutional
Crowder.
republic.
Citation needed.
Which is better than making
The
a shield
forming
out
a
of your
human
parents'
shield
trash
thing?
cans so you can go be Antifa and burn down the city.
That's true. That is true.
Like, dude,
And if they don't even use
Hey, guess
metal
what?
trash cans.
No, it's plastic.
Plastic.
Is this a recycling bin? This won't even stop my switchblade comb.
It says keep
you know, I saw a bunch of Republicans. I knew they were Republicans because they were wearing Republican hats. Just said Republican. And they were making a human wall to block my view when I was going in to vote myself. So yeah, I guess they were doing it on both sides, huh? Or maybe you have nothing but the fever dreams of a cope fiend as your source, and we shouldn't listen to what you're saying.
It says keep Philly clean on the side. What is this?
It's part of the message.
Well, we don't all have time for professional shields. We can't all have plate carriers. Well, listen, when the revolution comes, I'm just saying, plate carriers, not a bad idea. Thanks, Spartan Armor. Then in Nevada, the Republican Party, of course, said they found over 3,000 specific instances
These claims always involve poll workers who aren't actually approved or involved at the location. Yeah.
of ballots that appear to be cast improperly. Up to 10,000 ballots are allegedly have.
And there's some that are like I remember there's one that was like a woman who said that like she had a roommate who stole her ballot. And when they asked her like, okay, so the way that we're going to take care of this is you're going to give us your roommate's name because you've said that they've done a crime and we're going to see if they've done a crime, and if they've done a crime they're going to get punished. But they're going to have their day in court, you know? And as soon as that prospect came up, she was like, no, I don't want them to get in trouble. You just want the election thrown out. I get it. Nice memes, Republicans. Nice memes.
Allegedly been cast by people who don't appear to live in the state at all, or dead people, and these have been referred, by the way, to Attorney General Bill Barr, who is on my list of "It's Not Gay."
No. Yeah, this is.
What? How many? You mean that?
Hello, Bill Barr. That's what I mean.
Oh.
I guess it's just me. Listen, you know what?
Yeah.
I went out on a limb, expecting
wait.
support.
No, you got none.
Yeah, well.
He's like joking around about being attracted to Bill Barr. That's the joke. That's the extent of it. Is that it? That Bill Barr is a daddy? Is that the
You left us there. We didn't know where you were going
All right.
with
Well,
that.
you
didn't
guys-
know
a
if you meant gay
TYT
bar.
segment?
In a manner of
Two
speaking.
Rs.
By the
Oh,
way,
well, I just.
I don't know if he would be there. I'd have to lure him.
if you're going to bring in illegal ballots, can you not use the Biden-Harris van to do it?
Right.
Like, can you get some, like an unmarked van?
Try a little
please?
harder.
Yeah, it's like a pedophile. It's like no, the whole point is to have a paneled van so he
Right.
can't see in, but you wrote rapist on it.
Yeah. Use like a Trump van or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you have that glass box porn truck,
Listen,
but
this
it's
is something
no
else.
one-way mirror.
Like a Steven. That would be in a Steven Seagal film where he's a
Yeah,
spy, but he rides up in a van. He's like, my van says secret spy. Why would you do that, Steven Seagal?
It has a V12. No, it doesn't.
I don't know why I say things. You're
My van is a
amazing.
black belt in Aikido.
By the way, here's a memory card. 4,000 more votes.
Oh my
We're
god.
You might
supposed
want to
to.
keep that safe.
we're supposed to campaign and commit fraud. I don't.
What were you about to say there, Joe?
I was going to say, I mean, none of these stories are far-fetched, right? So it would be very easy for the news to go, yeah, that seems like it has some credibility to it. We should probably cover that. We should.
Yeah. Oh my god, I did it again. Fuck me. Yeah, it's the one that got posted like 18 hours ago. What the fuck did I even do? Why does it go to Yang? Oh my god, chat.
Lump it into
I literally have like
these aren't stories; these are sworn affidavits.
That's what
And
I mean.
there's
LED in front of
confirmation.
my
So, for example, we had a
computer
sworn affidavit
screen.
with someone saying, "Hey, they put in 5 ballots in Michigan 27 times."
Right.
But
So we
we're
were.
going to dismiss that suit. Now we have evidence that there have been at least several ballots counted 3, 4 times. And the truth is, with the recounts that they're doing in Georgia, there's no real way to know how many times that's happened. I don't know if they do
It's
it by
almost
just
like the
adding up the
Biden
total from Dominion
ballot.
voting, the digital total, and
Burn
the
ban
hand count
wasn't a
total,
real
and say there's a
story.
discrepancy. How do they only spot one?
I know there has to be a true, like you said, a true audit of votes. We have to know what's going on because there's too many of these, like you said, not just stories, sworn affidavits, people coming out in positions of power and saying, "Hey, this doesn't happen. Like this does not happen. We have to take a second and make sure that this is accurate."
So many states today we'll be covering Nevada, Pennsylvania, and then
Nothing.
Legal ballots. Can you not use the Biden-Harris van?
to say there, Joe.
I was going to say, I mean,
Can you not use the Biden-Harris van? Yeah, I know that's pretty ridiculous. That seems pretty stupid. I wonder why they do that.
these stories are far-fetched, right? So it would be very easy for the news to go, yeah, that seems like it has some credibility to it. We should probably cover that. We should probably talk about this. And yet they just lump it into no evidence, no facts, not
These
showing
aren't
the
stories.
video.
These are sworn affidavits.
That's what I
And
mean.
then there's confirmation. So, for example, we had a sworn affidavit with someone saying, hey, they put in 5 ballots in Michigan 27 times.
Right.
We said, we're going to dismiss that suit. Now we have evidence that there have been at least several ballots counted 3, 4 times. And the truth is, with the recounts that they're doing in Georgia, there's no real way to know how many times that's happened. I don't know if they do it by just adding up the total from Dominion voting, the digital total, and the hand count total, and say there's a discrepancy.
You're still coping. Like, it's like one thing if you think you can like trick like liberals into being like, oh, I don't know, there's too many irregularities, maybe we need to do a revote. I don't know, let's just like, when you know, like it's but like I feel like they're actually trying to fool themselves more than anyone else.
How do they only spot one?
I know there has to be a true, like you said, a true audit of votes. We have to know what's going on because there's too many of these, like you said, not just stories, sworn affidavits, people coming out in.
They're just like talking about a bunch of like, they just like repeat stories and then they say, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of smoke, not to be any fire. You know, we really better do something about this. This is a real issue, and just more stuff is coming out every day. And it's like, yeah, as more desperate Trump freaks make up lies.
Positions of power and saying, hey, this doesn't happen. Like, this does not happen. We have to take a second and make sure that this is accurate.
It's like people that are like, no, wait, Biden presidency, no, this doesn't happen. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't part of Keck's plan. This wasn't part of Q's plan. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Accurate, and
that's what's going on right
CNN,
now. The
nothing.
stages of fucking grief. That's what we're seeing, is the stages of grief.
I think we just have to discount anyone who says...
And they're stuck on denial. They're very much stuck on denial.
Definitively, this cannot... a recount. There is no election fraud. You might find 1 or 4 votes. Well, in one county, 6,000. Well,
So far.
you know what? It's give or take.
Well,
It's like the polls. There's a plus or minus 12.
It's like a parent saying to the kid, like, "What's behind your back? Nothing."
Yeah. They go, Good enough for me.
All right.
Okay,
Nothing to see here.
Sounds like it's just a comb.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a cajillion votes.
There's like I don't know how much they're doing it on purpose, but there's a fucked up subtext to what he just did. Like, cause it's a callback. It's just a comb, right? It's a callback to the story of the switchblade comb that's actually a switchblade, right? And the idea is like, don't trust your kids. They might shiv you.
Yeah.
Fine.
Come on, it's not like it's enough to sway an election in the most important country the world has ever seen. What does it take at this point?
Yeah.
Now, we're not saying that this is evidence that there's enough fraud that would have changed the vote total, but there is certainly enough evidence here, not only sworn affidavits, but hard evidence and numbers and vote tallies and ballots that warrant.
And stories and lies and hyperbole and useful idiots like you that will carry that shit because of your copium addiction. You're willing. It's like somebody their dealer ran out of copium, but now they're selling you this like horrible other drug that it's kind of like copium, but it's even worse, and you're just like, I can't do it, chat. I need to actually drink before I can make a slurping noise. You'll have to forgive me.
An investigation at this point, and you, of course, you're saying, well, we're not going to investigate. Well, hold on a second. If no one took it upon themselves to investigate at all, those 5,500 votes would never have been found, never counted. You say that all votes matter, all votes count.
Q has already been replaced with a guy called E as part of the new plan for 2024, so Trump Jr. can win all the states and install a trial to purge America of un-Americans. It's all over Facebook and 8kun, you mean?
And they're talking about on CNN how Lindsey Graham wants to toss out legal votes. He put pressure to toss out legal votes because someone spoke with a person who knows somebody who saw this guy who knows that Lindsey Graham passed out at 31 flavors last night.
I noticed that shit too. And it's not just the usual like American exceptionalism bullshit, right? That we all know is like a lie and a cope of its own, right? But it's also it sounds fucking stupid. I'll be honest, it sounds fucking stupid. And you know, these people pride themselves on making fun of stuff that sounds fucking stupid, and here they are posting cringe.
But what about
the most important country that what did they say? The world has ever seen. What the fuck are you talking about, Crowder?
What about the illegal votes? We want to toss the illegal votes. What about these legal votes to the tune of...
Look, if you want America to be a good country, how about we start by not being the kind of country that's up its own butt?
Thousands that have just
about its importance in the grand scheme of things, okay?
In fact, do those not matter?
That would be refreshing. That would be refreshing.
Yeah.
Do those not matter at all? Because CNN is too busy right now. Poppy Harlow and Jim Bruschetta, they're talking about mask mandates in South Dakota. Let's go to Duckface Lady, see what she has to say.
Good morning, Poppy, Jim. We're actually in front of the city council.
Yo, Duckface is praxis.
City
Does she have a Skrillex haircut?
Yes, she does.
Skrillex haircuts are praxis.
622 to mandate masks.
Good morning, Poppy.
Businesses and city facilities where it's not possible to
I've been up all night doing ecstasy. Pure MDMA.
That is a very big deal. Sioux Falls.
I could read the news after a night of ecstasy.
South Dakota's largest city, and as coronavirus cases and deaths continue to rise, the governor continuing to oppose any sort of mask rule.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good.
She should.
Christine Elm of South
Well,
Dakota.
don't show her. That's only going to hurt your case. People who support her just for those gams. She could come out and say, COVID is a complete and total hoax. Good enough for me.
I agree.
Can those Michigan doxers send me her address?
Look at those bazooms.
Oh, boy.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's kind of not funny.
Maybe at least her office number. What is it?
That's
Sweet
kind of
C?
not funny.
They were showing it earlier
I just assume that everything that comes out of Crowder's mouth is a dog whistle, basically.
too, and I was just watching where they're like,
Basically.
there's an outbreak here in South Dakota. Here's an empty hospital parking
A
lot.
Skrillex joke in 2020, I was going to say, that's a callback. That's a bit of a callback.
Yeah, it's like,
to a much more innocent time.
Went from 1 to 3, yeah.
Yeah, it looks nightmarish.
Look, coronavirus confirmed cases, and she just tosses in deaths. Well, hold on a second.
Yo, I'll take bro step over this, fucking Trump shit any day, right?
And again, we're talking about one city. So that's the only time they'll mention deaths when they're talking about a small municipality because 4 people die, and that increases the overall death count. What about nationally? It's actually remarkable because if you look at the total number of cases and you look at the deaths, it seems that the disease is becoming less lethal. I'm not saying there aren't deaths, and I'm not saying that there won't be an increase in total deaths, but in relation to total cases.
Oh, wait, no, what you're doing is you're like a layman looking at a poll and noticing things about it that, like, may or may not really be patterns. They may or may not be statistically significant.
Twice, 54 million cases. You know how many people have caught it twice? We talked about it yesterday. Pop quiz. Anyone paying attention?
4.
You got it.
I'll give it. I'm going 3.
I was expecting a joke, but just accurate response.
No, I
works too.
prefer to every now and then to look like I have a brain, but I don't.
I'm discounting the first guy because it was debatable whether he actually had it the first time or not. Remember?
That's true.
So I'm going with 3 confirmed
also in China,
cases.
so-
The Hong Kongese lie.
Yeah. We're not going to believe it.
In general.
Yes. Speaking in broad generalities. I know you may not like it, but I don't have a problem with it. So anyone in Nevada, you let me know if you feel like your vote counted and what needs to change there. Before we move on to Pennsylvania, it's actually time to we have people, of course, we check them
Love
with
to
their office.
downplay a $250,000 preventable deaths. Yeah,
we check
exactly.
work. Yeah. Oh, what? Did we just lose my microphone?
Sorry about
Are we
that,
good?
yeah.
Are we good to go?
No, that was my fault.
Can they hear me in the
I
office?
think they can hear you now,
Hey,
yeah.
even Brendan is in there. What are you working on? You're editing something right now, I think, right? Even Brendan?
What?
No!
What?
I don't. That doesn't seem.
No!
I don't understand.
Cheap, Maddie. Okay.
What is it?
I dated
Man.
3 of those.
Was one a ghost?
Yes.
There were only 2 people.
She looked like the girl from Ring from Bonnell.
Crowder
I
is
think that
scummier than I
type's the same
remember.
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
understand.
Not a man and a woman.
CNN. Does CNN understand this is going back to the duct tape thing?
A little bit.
Does CNN understand that showing the South Dakota governor hurts their case? It's like when the governor is better looking than your hosts.
This beautiful woman is
Right.
crazy. Trust me.
Trust me.
Yo, what are they saying? What are they saying with that? The only women who should be allowed in reporting should be like fucking Fox News models. Now, that's not to say that there's not also like a prejudice against, people who are attractive in terms of like, being thought of as like lightweights, intellectually, even if they're absolutely not, and they provide some of those based takes out there. There's plenty of examples like this on Twitch, but yeah, I don't want to live in Crowder's world. I really don't want to live in Crowder's world, where we like take every woman that's over 25 and we like shove her in the pantry and hide her away from the world. Like that's some scary shit, Crowder. That's like that. Like the governor, our governor. How much of a fucking Republican sycophant are you, our governor? Yeah, I'm so proud of our governor. She's really pretty, and it's like, okay, but what about the governing part? Isn't that the important thing that she does? I don't know, chat. Do people even hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, or is it just all like butterflies and cat ears? I don't know, chat. I can never tell. Anyway, back to Crowder.
Right across the country right now, there are dozens of people with CNN on in airports going, well, hey, why didn't she do her job? Put her there.
She should have a show.
And
She's
put you
fetching.
in a gulag.
Yeah. CNN's claim she's too pretty to be smart.
Yeah.
Why don't you have an extra chromosome monster like most cities have for politicians?
Said by a buzzcut lady.
Yeah,
Bring back Lori
Gorilla
Lightfoot.
cut.
Yeah.
Looks like Ashley Tisdale banged Skrillex,
All
and we're
governors
supposed to
are
take her as an
bastards.
authoritative news source.
It looks like Lena Dunham before she found cake.
Oh, I thought you said Lena
That's
did it
so
before she
mean.
found
Hey,
Kay,
I think
like
all of
Kevin-
you guys have found K.
Both,
Hey.
probably, because
Can I point out the
assume
double standard?
that special K increases your appetite for
Can I
special
point
K.
out
Her
the
finding
double
cake was
standard
like
that
Christopher Columbus.
many
like,
of these
putting his
gentlemen
flag.
have
Right,
also
yeah, and that she was looking for vegetables.
found their way down
stumbled
to the
across cake?
refrigerator
No,
in the middle
I
of the
don't think
night
so at all.
and
It was
devoured
more
some
like
cake?
Vikings, where she was like, out of my way!
I just mean it changed the world.
Right.
There's a double standard, dude. You can never eat
Also, a lot of
cake
people were
as a
killed.
woman.
Yeah,
Never. Hey, it's not allowed.
The similarities
She stole it
are
from the
endless.
Could you
previous owners.
imagine if Cortez, like instead of Cortez, it was just Lena Dunham with a red beard and a funny hat, but she was the
Jesus.
same person as today trying to conquer back then? They wouldn't even have a chip for someone bitching as much as she does.
They'd have Amazon there. It wouldn't even have been an issue. There'd have been like,
This is so
"Get outta
bad.
here."
I'm so tempted to
outta
skip
here.
right to the
Sure, rape.
Steven Crowder celebrating about the TYT thing.
Proven.
Yes, it was also verifiable.
Like anybody would rape you.
Okay,
Right.
so
That was rape.
now let's
Yeah,
go on to
really.
Pennsylvania here. Pennsylvania is another one. You guys can feel free to chat. I want to hit these facts, but you guys can feel free to
Yeah,
share
did
more
they get
opinions.
COVID
Other
tested
than
before their
polling
shows?
is that
Good
vote
question,
fraud is
Dizzy.
bad, Gerald. Give
I
me
don't think I've ever said that.
Give me something more to go on.
Are you sure I didn't say that?
Factual.
You know what? Let's start with this in Pennsylvania. So Nevada's done. Pennsylvania and Michigan, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. But in Pennsylvania,
Dude, you're
a
not
lot of
looking
people will
forward
say,
to
well,
shit.
hold on a
You're
second,
gonna
actually, that's
lose.
untrue. We had a live stream. Poll
You're not
workers
there's
were
nothing to
allowed.
look forward
In some
to,
places
dude.
they
You're
were. Some places,
gone.
and we'll get to all that, the misunderstanding.
Election's
Thanks,
over,
AP.
Steven.
But watch this
Election
video
is
for
over.
yourself, and you tell me if it looks like a poll worker is actively being turned away. No evidence.
You're not letting me in? Well, what? No. That's why I told
Oh
you.
my god, let's see what it looks like. Hey, let's look at a clip out of context with no evidence and then just let this asshole that is a known liar provide you with the context of like what is happening and who's what and who's supposed to go where. And then later we find out that this person wasn't actually a poll worker or they were assigned to a different precinct or that there's like a really good explanation why they weren't allowed in. Like, yeah, the poll workers weren't allowed in, and it was all Soros plants that were in the polling station. That's right. That's what they keep on doing, is like acting like someone is kicking the poll workers out, and then they are in there, and they just go wild. They hump the ballots. They coom on the ballots, chat. A non-zero number.
Call that number. Tell me to call somebody.
It's just as bad. Don't
I have a
worry. Oh my
citywide
god.
watcher certificate.
It's not for this location.
It's not for it. Is not. Is this the city of
Listen,
This is the city of Philadelphia. This is the city of Philadelphia. This is the city.
It is for that location.
You
in case-
wanted to
Yeah.
Wait, is he getting turned away because he doesn't have mask on? Is that what's...
You wanted to talk outside. Let's talk. I have a warrant. I asked you to read the line. The line said it's good in every ward and division in the city.
I don't know what's more offensive, that our democracy is being stolen for us, or, from us, or that the poll watcher was tricked by the old bouncer. Let's go talk about it outside. Close the door. You mean there's not a sex on the beach out here? Oh, skunked again.
I like that they couldn't be bothered to read the certificate that says "good in all wards."
Right,
citywide.
good in all wards.
Like, what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen? Well,
What I did to my ballot is none of Carter's business.
let's just write on it that it's good in all wards. That'll take care of it.
I had the same thing happen with a coupon at TGI Fridays.
Let's talk about this
That's
outside.
because of the one-way mirrored van.
That's true.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
And it's not.
It's like 90% callbacks in here. It's like 90% callbacks.
It's not.
Oh, I'm gonna mention the mirrored van again. Oh shit. Oh, mirrored van. Oh my god. One-way mirror, mirrored van. Yeah.
Because we can see the children in the back. It's because you parked in the electric vehicle only.
Oh.
Trying to save the
we
world.
take the global warming seriously. At
Yeah,
TGI
feel free to hurt the kids, just not the environment.
So here's the thing. Poll watchers in Philadelphia, to corroborate not only what's going on there, they were ordered to stand 20 feet away until they got a court order, which they defied.
Like, there must just be a market for this shit. I don't know, Chad.
Now, the media fact-checked some of these things, the 20
Has big closet vibes, yeah.
feet away, as well as that video. This is from USA Today. Here's what's so interesting. Like you said, that certificate is good in all wards, right? It's citywide, which almost seems like the poll workers should know that. Kind of like I should know right now, oh, the red light. That means people can see what I say. Only I'm in charge of the election of the free world. So here's what the USA Today said. It was an honest mistake. And when you read it even confused me. Let me read an exact quote. So you see they're trying to say that it actually seemed like...
Dude, like, I swear to God, anything that comes into them, they scan. Like, how can I turn this into copium?
like he was in the wrong
How could I roll this up and smoke this as if it was copium?
and then you realize, oh, at the bottom of the paragraph, right before the guy leaves his byline, which is anonymous. I don't know if it was in this case. A spokesperson for the Philadelphia City Commissioner's Office stated the act was, quote, an honest mistake. Kevin Feely said during a phone call with BuzzFeed News that the man had a different ward than was written on his certificate. An older version of the law pertaining to poll watchers maintains such individuals must be assigned to specific wards, which is why the poll worker mistakenly turned the man away. So you say there was a...
Like, dude, he's like, oh man, you know what? This is really suspicious, but then there was a news article written about it, and oh my god, you know what? Clearly the news is trying to pull the wool over our eyes. This is just like the news is like, oh shit, they found out about the poll worker. What are we gonna do? Here, let's make up a story where it's like it was an honest mistake. It was an honest mistake. Yeah, that's what we say. Honest mistake. Sure, go with that. Go with the honest mistake thing. Put out that story. We got to cover up for Biden because we know Biden didn't win honestly.
Law in the ward, and people are like, oh well, I guess okay, he shouldn't have been there, and he was mistakenly turned away. Well, hold on a second, you said it was about different wards. How was he mistakenly turned away? They never mentioned the new law and that the guy was officially credited for all wards. So they say there was an old law that was kind of confusing and so it was a mistake. Well, hold on a second. Is there a new law? Is that something they should have been briefed on? Because we heard audio tapes of them briefing people in Detroit on how to board up polling precincts with Bristol boards. Just grab a new Bristol board. It could be an old project from your kid's kindergarten. It don't matter so long as they can't see shit.
And it's educational.
Well, so
it's fraud and educational, like baby Einstein stealing shit.
Also, do you believe this lady knew that law?
Right.
No
way. The one in the welding mask?
Yeah, exactly. The plastic welding mask.
That's standard PPE. It's a face shield, you dipshit. It's a face shield.
No, I'm non-porous.
Yeah. Sorry, I was working on old information.
Yeah. I'll leave you with your droplets. You can take your droplets. Shit, I get non-porous.
This is part of how black women's identity is politicized. And then guys like this turn around and accuse black women of politicizing everything.
I wanted a mask made of
Fuck you, Crowder. Fuck you. This is so, like, okay. I know if he was here, he'd accuse me of getting offended on someone else's behalf. I just think you're being an asshole. And it's not even funny. Like, the only humor I can find is how stereotyped and removed from actual black women your concept of black women seems to be.
But then I realized I couldn't see.
I tried it.
They all fucking have this like sassy, like fucking stereotyped black woman in their fucking like impersonation toolkit. It's
so we see it. So the lady know that law?
Yeah, right. No, there's no way she knew that law.
This is so fucking cursed. This is so fucking cursed.
Now, if you look at this book, it's about right here.
Paragraph 7, subsection
right
C
here.
clearly states you have to be in the right ward.
Talk about outside.
Now, if you got a book of new laws you want to...
Look, they also have a problem with black women and being in positions of power. The idea that black woman was making the call on, you know, who comes into the voting the voting premises or doesn't, you know.
Right. Well, we can talk.
The idea that a black woman would ever tell one of them what to do.
We can talk. I'm not saying I'm gonna listen.
Yeah.
You can talk all you want. You talk. That's white bitches love to talk. Love to talk. Oh, you saying I'm breaking the law? No. Call the police. See if I give a shit.
The funny thing, the thing that makes this even more cringe, is that I'm sure in Crowder's mind, he thinks that, like, you know, people, like black women listening, will be like, damn, he's really got us down. Oh, wow, no, totally. You know what I mean? He thinks that, like, this thing is spot on. He thinks that he's captured something essential. And All that he's platforming here is his own ignorance and his own fucking cringe.
With them new laws.
You would say that.
Yeah. You would talk to the hand. Is this still the 90s? Do people say that?
Talk to the hand.
I mean, this stereotype obviously still says that because that's probably where you got this stereotype from.
They're looking at 90 laws.
I get my laws from Brandy.
By the way,
with an I.
Yeah.
Not the one from TV show.
Does it matter if it was an honest mistake? It doesn't matter at this point. The poll watcher was not allowed in.
Yeah.
The end result is...
So we declare the poll invalid. Yes, we give Trump the presidency. Oh, it's so simple.
The same. Whether you weren't briefed on the new law, whether you knew the law, or whether you just had a bad day, it still happened.
You're still
That's
in
the
wrong.
whole point of this.
was
Is it happened.
an honest mistake.
No, it was not.
No,
What bothers me is it's not even just
swingy.
a guy voting. It's the guy who's got to make sure it's done properly.
Right, exactly.
Why would you assume that he's just not allowed inside?
Yeah.
Right. And by the way,
I don't know, maybe the fact that he's not wearing any PPE. Like, there's a little something wrong with that. Also, remember, we're relying on these assholes for the context of the situation. I don't trust them.
honest mistakes don't usually involve that much shoving.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And call the police.
What
Go
a
ahead. Call the
attitude.
I'm
police.
detecting a little bit of
Cringe.
unhonesty.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
a mistake is like, oh, I bumped into you. I'm sorry about that. Doesn't involve.
Yeah, you don't just lock the doors and you're like, how
Oh yeah, she was pretty violent, chat. Did you see her being violent? She was really violent. She looked dangerous too. She was dangerous, loud, and violent.
the
Yeah.
pandas?
Yeah. We're seeing in with the body language expert on these segments.
Right,
We're like,
right,
well, if you
yeah,
look at the body language here, you see he's reaching for a
Mm.
knife, but then realizes it's the camera, so he just commits mild assault by shoving him.
Yeah.
You
And
can see
closing the
the
door.
honesty here.
Yes.
Just
Here.
Yes.
You can clearly see the
With the
earnestness
shove.
in the face. I know that it's difficult because of the reflection due to the entirely ineffective mask, but
Did you see the poll
well,
watcher?
she took a sneeze shield. She took half a sneeze shield from Golden Corral.
That's all
Right.
it
There's
is.
obviously issues with elections. There's multiple states that have many more votes than registered voters. If you're saying that it's a large undertaking and that, mistakes do happen, yeah, you're right. They've done statistical analysis to try to determine how many, and it's always yielded a result that's not in danger of swaying an election. So actually, I'm glad you came in here, Kaisune, because I want to talk to you about another kind of election fraud, another kind of distortion of the numbers, because that's what you're worried about, right? Is that you want the real numbers of the election to come out, right? You want to get the actual numbers, not the numbers like, the kind of close to the numbers, or the numbers plus or minus a few mistakes, or, the numbers without like the poll watcher being in place who is supposed to be. So like, I get you, and I'm on board with that too. I really want the will of the people to be represented in those numbers, right? And to that effect, do you know that there's a lot of voter suppression, there's a lot of voter fraud, you could say. There's a lot of tampering with our elections that go on before the elections even start. We're talking about people being swept off the rolls strategically because the politicians don't like who those people are likely to vote for. We're talking about gerrymandering. We're talking about purposely redrawing districts to favor one party over the other. It's the party that has the control of most state governments. I don't know if you know which party this is. I can't remember. But when you look it up and find out which party it is, let me know, because it's that party, the party that controls most of the state governments, that's done, which obviously they would be the ones to be able to do the most gerrymandering. So they've kind of like stacked the deck to the utmost, and it's already kind of a stacked playing deck, because this party, ironically enough, also benefits from our antiquated system of legislature, which provides 2 senators for every state, whether it has, 100 million people or 6 million people. There's actually so many ways in which the vote that we actually see doesn't represent the will of the people, represents a certain section being cut out, certain voices being silenced. And I hope that you're as concerned about that and restoring the integrity to our elections, because I think that we're talking about a lot more votes with the gerrymandering and with the voter suppression and with the attempts to make it difficult to access voting, such as voter ID, which is done not just casually as like, okay, we need to know the voters are the people that they say they are, let's do a voter ID. They have ways of doing that without that. They have ways of cross-checking votes. They have ways to making sure that that nobody who's voting voted in another state too. They don't need somebody to bring an ID to do that. They like to make people bring IDs because they know that certain groups don't tend to have an ID and therefore are going to get turned away at the poll. And for every one person that like didn't know they were supposed to bring their ID and they show up and they don't get to vote, that is benefiting that one party. Now I still can't remember which party is, but it's one of the parties, trust me.
Is it the sneeze guard? That's it.
Sorry, what were you going to say? I cut you off.
I forgot.
Now the coronavirus goes
The
down.
looting. Someone looted my idea.
So, by the way, what we're talking about, so you have that, then you have mail-in ballots. We talked about how in yesterday, what was the state we did yesterday? Was it Arizona? Was it Wisconsin? It was
No,
Georgia.
Georgia.
Georgia had an acceptance rate of mail-in ballots at 10 times the previous elections. Now, this is important. Here, in this kind of trends with the national average. It is about 30 times. They were accepted at a rate of 30
Gerrymandering
times
is a
the mail-in
huge
ballots
issue
in
in
2016 in
Texas.
Pennsylvania. So keep in mind, what that means is in 2016, we didn't just have massive unrequested mail-in ballots, right? We had absentee ballots. I had to vote absentee one time because on the road doing stand-up, and so that's where you actually have to, at least when I did it, you had to request a ballot, you had to verify and authenticate your address, and then you had to send it in, usually by election.
That's what ours was.
Yeah, and I didn't claim reverse racism, sometimes commonly referred to as racism. I just said, well, yeah, that makes sense. There's a date, them's the breaks if I miss the date, right?
Calendars are racist.
You know, so that's what I had to do back then. So that was the process back then.
No, but artificially truncating the calendar, the way that the Republicans tried to do, that lowers the number of votes.
And ballots that were mailed.
And when you lower the number of mail-in votes, you're lowering the percentage of Democratic votes.
Then we're accepted.
And that's your real goal, not to maintain the integrity of the election, but to absolutely defeat and frustrate that integrity.
Accepted at 30 times less. So that means that now many people who've never voted, according to the voter rolls, they've blown past actual voting percentage in counties from countries where it's mandated in some instances.
Yeah.
And we've seen a record number of ballots that are empty, except for Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. But for some,
I'd say you have a fairer election than you've ever had before. There's so many people, Kaisune, like what do you do? Like, do you work and stuff? Because there's a lot of people who their schedules are so full that adding voting to that schedule, it just doesn't happen. And especially if they're kind of alienated, if they feel like both parties aren't really listening to them, they're going to be less likely to actually cast that vote. So I kind of feel like even if, you know, I feel like those people's votes are important to get too. And we're missing those. But we're missing those by not offering access that's easier, that doesn't, you know, because like it really depends. Like, check it out. So you can go to some polling stations, usually in richer areas, usually in wider areas, and you'll find that voting is really easy. That there's not the rate of people voting to the rate of like polling stations is pretty low. So you'll get in and you'll cast your vote really quickly and you'll get out. But in other neighborhoods, the rate is much higher. The lines are much longer and people actually have to stay in line like into the night in order to just vote. This is strategic. They pull districts out in order to make it harder for marginalized people, for minorities to vote.
For some reason, all kinds of problems with signatures. We've shown these on air. You can see them yourself. It doesn't even, it's like literally it's
Most companies let you take time off to go vote.
put your John Hancock down there. One name says Randall Wendell and the other name says John Hancock. It's like someone just wrote.
Like, that sounds like you're a little bit like detached from like the kind of like responsibilities most Americans have, right?
Wrote John Hancock on.
Oh yeah, you can just get time off from your work. Try asking time off from your work at, like, if you're working at Trader Joe's, dude.
30 ballots and put them through.
Yeah. Well, I like this John fella.
Like,
yeah, I mean, can you find somebody to cover your shift? Oh wait, they want to go vote too. I guess you're out of luck. Sorry.
They were counting money for the mob. They reran the ballots.
And their argument back would be that the process has gotten more secure. I don't know if it's gotten 30 times more secure.
Yeah. Not during this unprecedented
does that mean the post office has gotten 30 times better
Yeah.
at delivering the mail?
Are they making 30 times the negative profit that they've done for 30?
You can see like what disrespect and contempt he holds his audience in by his willingness to try to bamboozle his audience. Now, if you've been in that audience, like, I feel for you, okay? Because, like, I don't know, I can see how this would be convincing if you didn't know any better. But what he's talking about negative income from the post office is a lie. It's a distortion. The post office is forced to do accounting for its own pension plan in a way that no other agency has ever been. This is on purpose in order to make the post office look like it's a big hole in our pocket, when in actuality it performs a service at lower rates than the free market do. Check this out. There's places that private carriers won't go that the post office goes. These are like Republican areas we're talking about. We're not talking about big cities. We're talking about rural areas. We're talking about prime Republican country. So, you know, you hand that over to private companies, those areas don't necessarily get served because they're not profitable enough to service. The post office actually kind of saved the election. Trump took money out of them. Trump sabotaged them. Trump put officials in place that were specifically trying to sabotage the mail during the mail-in ballots to try to, like, get him to win the election, even though he was losing it, to try to basically, you know, give a reason to throw out the mail-in votes or to not, like, move them fast enough. The post office went behind Trump's back and they figured out how to move the votes, how to expedite the ballots. And, you know, all I gotta say is thank you, USPS. Thank you for, you know, saving the election.
13 years?
Yeah. Turns out if you lose enough money, you get really efficient.
Yeah. Think about this. You have to believe.
But assholes like Crowder would have us give it over to private enterprise and have them fuck us over, charge us way more. The fact is, when we pool our resources together in something like, oh, I don't know, a government, you know, and especially if the tax rates are graduated, in other words, the people that pay the majority of the taxes are the people that can afford to pay taxes, you can do a lot more with that pool of money together, negotiating as a whole, as a people, as a nation, than you can you as an atomized individual with no power whatsoever negotiating with a large company. You have zero power. You know what your negotiation, you don't even get to negotiate. You've got your agreement. You've got whatever they give you to sign, and that's what you're dealing with. They completely call the shots in this enterprise, right?
That the post office,
and they rip you the fuck off, right?
Who have not turned a profit,
and they don't service your rural community.
In 13 years,
that seems bad for Republicans, and yet Republicans have amazed people, especially people in other countries, at their ability to seemingly enjoy their own participating in their own self-harm.
And said they were not equipped to handle
participating in their own self-exploitation.
This election, and we're mailing out checks 10 days late. We're so efficient that they were 30 times more effective in handing in mail-in ballots. Also, by the way, at the same time, people who've never voted before made sure they got it right. from their den. 30 times more effective. When people say, well, you know what, there's not enough for voter fraud. Again, we've already shown you thousands of votes in a state like Georgia, where the margin's very, very thin. Thousands of votes. We've shown you that already. Again, without an actual canvassing.
You haven't shown us shit. All you've shown us is what a cope fiend you are.
Without an actual official recount, without an
all you've shown us is your fucking delusions.
Actual official audit, and now 30 times.
All you've shown us is denial.
The rate, those aren't numbers. To give you an example, let's say there were 100,000 ballots, mail-in ballots that were sent before, right? They were rejected at a rate, let's say it was 1%. So what happened is last election, 100,000 votes.
But they don't. They do. They like. Kaisune, did you know that rich people do pay? At least the tax rates are higher for higher income. So yeah, we have that. We have a progressive tax rate that you were saying would cause the rich to leave the country, and they don't leave the country. And it's for the same reason that you might find it difficult to leave the country, because your life is here.
1,000 got rejected. Right. Now this time, 100,000 votes.
They don't go around the world and shop for the lowest tax, they can get. I mean, sure, the rare individual that has some kind of a fetish for paying the lowest possible taxes might move somewhere else temporarily, but by and large, they're rooted here in the U.S. because they're Americans. They're
less than 300 get rejected. You add that up in a state with a few million people, that's not a rounding error. No. That's winning or losing the state. Those are fighting numbers. And when you say you don't want fighting in the streets, well then, don't miscount votes to the level that wouldn't...
Man, those Democrats miscounting the votes, they make it sound like there's a Speedwagon Foundation. Kyusune, do you know about the Speedwagon Foundation? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Speedwagon Foundation? It's there's a Speedwagon Foundation, but for Soros, right? Instead of it being Speedwagon, it's the Soros Foundation. And that anytime anybody turns their back, anytime if the counting shuts down for a while, it's not just that they leave. The poll workers don't just leave and lock the doors and account for the ballots and everything else, and they leave, and somehow the Soros people are in there. They're in there, and the Soros people are just fucking the ballots. They're just shoving their dicks through the ballots and just completely cooming them up, right? The second that and this is just constantly happening. There's this hardcore partisan democratic force, this secret cabal of people that are just just constantly stealing the election, and they'll say it without attribution. They're they are doing this. Who are you talking about? Was there even anyone in that building, or do you just do these people that don't really exist, do they also get free rent in your head?
Hesitate fighting in the streets for some people because they want their vote to count. 5,500 people, their votes did not count.
Hey, how about fighting in the street like that asshole that came and attacked a bunch of people and got knocked the fuck out? He fucked around, Steve, and he found out. Okay?
In Georgia until this morning because of two flash drives.
You want to take out your frustrations about not getting the candidate that you feel entitled to by attacking people? You can get knocked the fuck out just like he did.
They're not
in a video game.
Not burning stuff down, but I would understand it a little more than someone burning something down for... I still don't get it. Your reason is as good as mine. Comment below as to why you burned down a Walgreens.
And by the way, people were concerned...
They stopped counting at 4 a.m. What does that mean to you, Kaisune? What does that mean? Is it just suspicious things happen at 4 a.m.? Is it the witching hour? What?
That those numbers would climb.
Does Soros rise from the grave and suck the blood of children?
Oh my God! The rate of rejection would actually go
getting way too close to a trope there.
Significantly higher in this
election.
election.
That would go along with the rest of the Soros shit, wouldn't it?
And they were worried.
Gee, I wonder why they picked Soros.
A bunch of voters that would be voting for Joe Biden wouldn't get counted. So we can go back and...
Why would it be Soros and not the Koch brothers, for instance, right?
Play the tapes of these people.
They spend a lot of money on American politics.
Saying this, and it went down, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's fantastic. That's exactly what we thought would happen.
The witching hour is 1 a.m.?
And then, of course,
burnt down a Walgreens
It's
because
when Soros enters the building, yeah.
I prefer CVS.
They do have the better
yeah.
discounts. I don't know why, though. CVS still prints out receipts that can circle the equator 4 times like it's CompUSA in 2004.
I use them as toilet paper.
Some boomer-ass references here.
That's weird. You can stuff it in your jacket for warmth, too.
Oh,
really
wow,
cold,
50% off. Buy 5, get 1 50 off for Pantene Pro V. Thanks, CVS. All I wanted was
It's when the ballots arrive. It's when the ballots arrive.
99-cent Arizona iced tea, but you don't...
probably also when they can get people there.
Restock your cold beverages. What is it with the CVS down the road here?
True.
You're just fishing. You're just like, are you seriously this addicted to copium? Like, seriously, look, I feel like I do you more good by just bringing up the stages of grief. Do you understand the stages of grief? Okay, so let's just change the video here. Hey, make sure to watch that tomorrow. That's premiering at 12:45 Eastern time. We got a Logan Paul video. Stages of grief. Okay, look, somebody's got to show you this shit, okay?
Are a way of describing how people may react to a loss. Psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross first outlined the stages of grief in the 1960s. She originally used the stages to describe how she saw patients reacting to their own terminal diagnosis.
It's like when you were counting on something, you know, and you figure out you're not going to get it. The mind has a way of dealing with this. It's like several steps, it's processes that it goes through in order to kind of like get to that point where you can accept that the thing that thought you were going to have for the next 4 years is not going to be there.
Today we acknowledge these stages
like some sort of father figure or something that, you know,
as common feelings anyone may experience when grieving any kind of loss.
Any kind of loss, including, you know, an electoral one.
Including the death of a loved one.
Okay, so here we go. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression.
Is a refusal to believe the loss.
Acceptance, or dadba.
Is real. The brain protects itself until it has more time to absorb and process difficult news.
So this is where you're like, you know, yo, but like actually there were like some serious ass voting irregularities, and it's only a matter of time till the cases get to the Supreme Court, because there was affidavits. I heard Steven Crowder say there was affidavits. There was affidavits, and the affidavits are going to work their way up to the Supreme Court, and Judge Amy Coney Barrett is going to be like, you know what, that election, that just wasn't fair. That wasn't a fair election.
Anger may come after we admit the loss actually happened. This emotion can be directed at any number of...
And then you get the anger, and you know, you go out in the streets in DC, and you start fights with like a whole bunch of people. And, you know, you start attacking one woman, and then somebody kicks you in the butt from behind, and then you go over and try to attack them, and then, you know, somebody else, like, you know, lights you up with some ones and twos, and then you turn around and somebody hits you on the side of the head and knocks you out, right? You know, it's like anger.
Targets. It may range anywhere from frustration to fury. During the bargaining stage, we attempt to strike a...
Okay, so like at this point, you're like, okay, listen, Trump may not be gonna get president, but I know in my heart he won. I know there were voting irregularities, and I know that he deserved to win. There were people being bussed in by Antifa and George Soros, and there's more votes than there are... There's more votes than there are eligible voters in the state, because I saw it on some batshit right-wing website.
Deal with our...
And it made my little heart warm. So I know that even if Trump is not going to be president for the next 4 years, he deserves to be. He's the president in my heart. He won. The American people are with President Trump, and it's only a matter of time until 2024 comes around and he's returned to his rightful place as the best president that we've ever had. What did I do? I fucked that up, didn't I? We weren't through grieving, were we? We're still grieving.
Sadness of depression we could have done differently. Strike a deal with ourselves or a higher power.
Oh, wait, do you see that word? Do you see that word? That is the most important. We strike a deal to cope with our pain. We strike a deal to cope with our pain, okay?
Pain. Guilt is also common during this stage.
Well, yeah, that's true. He can't serve as president in 2024. Oh, so you're not even here yet. You're not even here yet, Kaisune. You're back in is it the first stage, the denial one? You're still in that one. That's an interesting place to hang out. I saw it on Newsmax. It must be true. Yeah, I know. If it's on Newsmax, you know.
As we dwell on past events,
I mean, this might be a good time to blame the libertarian in your life that you suspect didn't actually pull the thing for Donald Trump.
Searching for things we could have done differently.
I could have bullied my young female relatives harder to get them to vote for Trump, even though they did not want to. If I had just been a little bit more overbearing, maybe they would have felt cowed into voting for Trump.
Deep sadness of depression sets in when we realize the loss has really happened and our life is forever changed. This kind of depression is a natural response for most people experiencing loss. It is not a sign of mental illness. Reaching the stage of acceptance doesn't mean
what they're saying here is that you're valid, okay?
Our grief is over.
You are valid.
We understand the loss has happened and we can't change it. Accepting this doesn't mean we feel good about it. If you're grieving...
I mean, you're never going to feel good about it, okay? You know, Biden's going to be up there in the Oval Office with his hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So, you know, it's not going to get better in this, like a material sense, but it might get better in like a psychological sense.
You may recognize
once you've gotten past all the denial, the anger, the bargaining, what is the other D?
Some of these feelings, but you may not be experiencing them in any particular order. The truth is, grief does not always follow a specific path. Your journey might feel more like you're all over the place, and that's okay.
I mean, there might be a lot more losses too, you know what I mean? This might be like kind of the start of a trend, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like a Republican Party that can't hold Georgia. It can't be expected to win a lot more presidential elections.
The 5 stages of grief aren't directions. They're just a starting point to help you understand some of what you might be feeling as you go through a period of serious change in your life.
It's okay. Trump's gonna leave the White House. There's, you know, every chance that he'll be subject to some sort of a legal consequence for the things that presidential immunity protected him from up until now. And, yeah. Joe Biden is a Trojan horse for the Corn Pop administration. Okay, so, what was it? Crowder and TYT.